Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've got a rather interesting shell and choke combination to try out that some of you guys kind of suggested that we test because it might actually perform pretty decently, and for me, I really don't know what we're going to see. It could legitimately go either way here. But as for the shells we've got today, I brought out some more of the Verdict 410 shells. They are a 3-inch, 7/8 ounce payload of TSS 9.5 shot, moving about 1,065 feet per second. These Verdict shells have been some decent performers so far, but I don't think we found the perfect choke combination for them just yet. They've always been plenty good enough, but have shown that they kind of want to be refined a little bit more than what they have been. So maybe today's choke combo might be the one to do it. I don't know. It's definitely a pretty oddball combination in theory here. But as for the setup we're going to run those through, I brought out my Mossberg 500 410. This one has a 24-inch barrel on it, but for the choke we've got, I threw in a factory style flush regular full choke. Now initially, when you think 410 and turkey loads, you pretty much think, well, you probably legitimately need a turkey choke for them, especially with 9.5 shot. I've noticed the little bit smaller pellets kind of tend to prefer the little bit tighter chokes. However, this is a pretty interesting thought process. We've tried those Verdict shells through everything from a 380 to a 381, 383, 385, and they've been decent, but not perfect. And several of you guys have said, hey, I've got a True Glow or an Indian Creek that's a 690 that works fantastic with those shells. Well, this flush full choke measures at a 391 constriction, and it has given us some very nice turkey patterns in the past, surprisingly enough for what it is. So I figured it's very close to that 390 constriction, so we'll run this combination and see, because it might really surprise us. So we'll see what happens, because it could go good or it could be pretty disappointing as well. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. The turkey target's at 40 yards, and I've got the chronograph so we can get our velocity out of the shell. So let's get you guys to view that target and see what kind of a pattern we can get from these Verdict 9.5s through a 391 full choke. Is it going to work out or not? I don't know, but let's take our shot and see what we get. Alright, that shell gave us 1109 through the chrono. The box claim is 1065, so we were a little bit above that claim, but right around that 1100 feet per second mark is typically what we see from these, so nothing out of the usual. But did they actually perform better down there through that full choke at 40 or not? Let's go check it out and see what we got. Alright, so now we're down here at our 40-yard paper, and this is kind of what I was concerned about coming into it here, and I didn't really know what direction it would go, but this isn't too surprising either. Now, right off the bat, do we have a dead turkey here? Yes, we absolutely do. There are several right through the brain, and a number more down the spine, and there's nowhere left or right that he could move to and get through that pattern. So is it 40-yard capable? Yes, it is. It's going to get you a turkey every time at 40 yards just fine. Now, looking at the entire pattern here, it's very obvious that this is a much more open pattern. It's got a number of splotchy areas all throughout it. So I think it's pretty obvious that 391 in a full choke like that isn't quite enough constriction for these shells. This is definitely the most open pattern we've seen with them, with the exception of when we tried them through an old single shot fixed full choke Pardoner 410. That was a little bit more sporadic than this, but that full choke was also more open than this one is as well. Either way, yes, it's 40-yard capable, but we really don't have much of a core area to it. It's just kind of a swath of shot across the paper more than anything else. There's a number of voids through it. Right up there behind that bird's head is a little bit thinner than over here in front of his head. Down towards the lower part of his neck down there, there's a number of little splotchy areas there as well. Around the edges, we do have leeway to work with, but it's splotchy as well. It's a little bit hotter above the paper with several more voids over here off the right and stuff, and pretty much same story around the rest of the edges as well. Just not a great 410 turkey pattern, that's for sure. We have seen much worse, don't get me wrong, and if this is what I had, then I would feel confident enough in it out to 40 yards to be good enough, but I wouldn't push it past there. Now, for what it's worth, this could be a pretty decent youth combination, especially if you've got a much younger hunter that is typically going to be taking 20, 25 yard shots or so. But if you got a bird bird hung up in a field or something for them on opening morning in a ground blind and they need to take a 30, 35, or maybe even 40-yard shot, that's going to give them a lot more breathing room to work with while still being good enough out to 40 yards to get them that turkey with it. So for that scenario, it might be okay, but for the typical 410 turkey hunter, you're probably going to want a tighter pattern than that. So this does not surprise me that we saw this pattern, considering what choke we ran them through today. Smaller pellets like 9.5s and 10s have kind of tended to prefer a little more open choke, but when you guys said that your 390s work pretty nicely with these, I figured, hey, I've got this 391 full choke, we might as well try it and just see what happens. And I don't think this is too unexpected either. Definitely nothing super impressive in the pattern department. It's good enough, but it's definitely nothing I would go out and try and switch to or anything like that. And here's the wad from that shell. Nothing special as far as 410 goes, but it did open up pretty far here. That does seem to be the normal for what these wads do in these verdict shells. There's nothing stuck down in there though, which has been a problem for 410 recently, so that's nice to see. And there's no major damage or anything like that to it. No snags or pinholes or tears or anything. So looks very much normal overall. Nothing out of the ordinary to see here. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that pattern right there? I think I kind of already covered it. It's not horrible necessarily. It's good enough to get you a 40-yard turkey with it, but it is not at all ideal. Nowhere near what we've seen from these shells previously, that's for sure. I just think they probably are a little bit finicky and there might only be one or two chokes that they really like. We've seen plenty of usable patterns with them that are pretty solid on their own right, but it seems like a 391 full choke is not the most ideal setup for them. It would make an okay youth pattern if you want a little more breathing room for those younger hunters or something, but for most people that are going to be using a 410, that's just a little bit too broad and splotchy and on the open side for them. I would hunt with it if it's what I had, but I definitely wouldn't go out and intentionally try to find this combination to use it or anything like that. We've definitely seen much better as well with other turkey loads through that same full choke than what these gave us. So probably just a case of smaller pellets, preferring a little bit more constriction more so than anything else, which was definitely one of the possibilities coming into it here. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of the Verdict 410 shells, and if so, what kind of results have you seen from them, or what chokes have they done well through? Is that a pattern or a combination that you would ever hunt with, or would you prefer it much tighter than that, or is that just a pattern that you would probably leave to the youth hunter or something like that? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description down below if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.